Hi everyone, welcome back to JC Journals. I'm Rita and I'm going to show you how to make a disguised hidden pocket. I've used a tulle flap as my disguise for this one with journaling space underneath, and when you pull this back, your hidden pocket is revealed. I've used a belly band as my disguise for this one, and when you pull this back, your hidden pocket is revealed. There's a tag in there. You can use your imagination and use anything as a disguise. This one, I've used a side pocket and my hidden pocket is underneath with a tag for journaling space. These ones I've already glued onto a page, so these pages are ready to go into a signature and get sewn into a journal. These ones I've left alone. These can go into any journal that's already finished. We're going to be making this one together, so let's go ahead and get started. The first step is you need to decide how big you want your disguised hidden pocket to be. I want mine to be 4.5 inches wide and 6.5 inches tall. So I'll go ahead and measure that out. So 6.5 inches, and I'll cut right here. And I want it by 4.5 inches. And I'll need to make 2 of these that are exactly the same size. So instead of just measuring this again through here, I like to line it up, make a mark, and cut that way. I find it to be more precise. So I'm going to cut right here. And these do need to be exactly the same size. Okay, let's measure that up. And if you do cut, that's one a little bit smaller than the other, just make sure the smaller one goes on the back. Next, we need to cut our inside part. So the way I measure this is I don't really measure it. It just needs to be a little bit smaller. So shorter, I'll go about that much. I'll cut right here for the width. Cut that. Okay, and that's the length. So the width, same thing. I'll cut right about, this is the pocket part, and it needs to be smaller than the whole thing. And we'll need to cut 2 of these, so same thing again. I'm going to line it up and make a mark. And cut. Okay, and these are the same size, perfect. I'll put this away. I'm going to go ahead and round my corners. Okay, the next thing I need to do is ink around all the cards. Well, not all of them. The inside ones, I'm only going to ink from the top because we'll be using washi tape on the sides and the bottom, so you won't be able to see it. And I'm using the Tim Holtz Distressed inks. Okay, so our next step is we'll get our washi tape on this, and the way you want to line it up is this way, so that when you're opening your pocket, you're not looking at the white part. This part's gonna be glued down anyway, so you can't see it. So let me get something where I can glue on. This is just a catalog I get on the mail, in the mail. And get my washi tape. Measure the bottom. So of course, washi tape is not trustworthy. So we'll need to add some glue to the washi tape, unless you've found washi tape that's very, very sticky, which I haven't yet. But if you have, please let me know where you've bought it from so I can get some for myself. And I'll stop using glue for my washi tape. That would be very nice. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up first, just about midway, because I need to get those two pieces together to create the pocket, the hidden pocket. Okay, get this on top, turn it upside down, line it up, make sure it's perfectly aligned, and I'm just going to fold this over. Fold that over, fix this part up, and just push on it. And I'm going to go in with my scissors and just chop those bits off. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing to the sides. Let me get my washi tape, see how much I need. That's good enough. Get some glue on this. Put this halfway up so I can fold the other side inwards. Make sure it's lined up and fold that over. Let me straighten this out. All right. And chop the excess off. And the last side. Get my glue on my washi tape. Put that away for now. Get this on halfway. And fold this over. Sure it's all nice and stuck. Okay, cut the excess off. Just measure that up and see how the pocket is slightly smaller than our disguise part, and that's what we need. So next, these two pieces, same thing. When you put them together, you're going to put them both sides facing up so that when we open our pocket, that's what's visible. And this is going to be facing me. So I'm going to get my magnets. These are the best magnets to use. This box doesn't belong to these magnets. I've just put them in there to keep them together. The size for these magnets is 15 millimeters by 1 millimeter. Oops. And they're super strong, as you can see. And I just need 2 of them, and that will hold everything together. Put that away. Make sure that it's the right side. Just test it. Okay, that's very adhesive. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here just to attach it to the inside pocket. And when you're gluing your magnet down, make sure that you leave enough space at the top here so that it's not visible and it's not sticking out, and it's protected by the cardstock. Okay. Now I'm going to when you're gluing this, I'm going to glue the pocket now to the cardstock. And you only need to put glue in the middle. We don't want to glue it all the way around because otherwise we won't be able to open our pocket. Get my glue on. And be generous with your glue, especially around the magnet, because you want to make sure it's not going anywhere. Got my glue all the way down. Okay, and now I'm going to get my piece, turn it upside down, and line up the pocket and make sure that it's not sticking out anywhere, because that's the secret to the disguise hidden pocket. Okay, and just let that dry a little bit so that it stays in place. I'm going to move it over just a tiny bit. From the top's looking good. Okay. Going to gently open this, make sure that this top part is glued down in here. I'm pressing on this part right here. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my my magnet, and I'm just going to test it to make sure the magnetic side is going on there. I'm going to put a little bit of glue and just let it find the other piece. And again, I'm going to get my glue just in the middle. All the way down. And be generous with the glue around the magnet. Get the glue all the way down to the bottom. Okay, and when I put my back side, so if you're gluing this onto a piece of cardstock that's already in your journal, you don't need this step. If you don't know where you're gluing this yet, or if you're gluing it on tea-dyed paper, something that's very weak, then you do need this step because this needs to be sturdy when we're pulling it. And I'm going to put it face down so that when we open it, everything is facing us. Lay that down. Sorry, I'm going to put it this way. And make sure that it's flush with the other piece. It's very important that nothing is sticking out. Straighten it out until it's perfectly flush. Just going to make sure nothing moved. Okay, it's looking great. Now I need to press on the back panel from the inside to make sure that edge is glued down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my bone folder and gently lift it open and put my bone folder in just to separate the magnets so that I can press down on the top part here. Press down on that, make sure it gets glued. Okay, that's looking great. Everything's glued down. And I'm going to quickly make a card that goes inside. Okay, let's get our cutting board. Put these aside for 1 minute. And I want this portion of the picture because I want it to match. Open that up. And I'll cut right about here. And how wide do I want my tag? Okay. So if I make it this size, this should fit inside. And how tall? Let me measure that so I don't cut through this because I'm going to use it for something else. Let me get my tab because I want to make sure that my tab won't be sticking out when I place it. Okay, that's good. And I'll mark right here. Get this cut. Pencil mark. I need to change my blade for my cutting board. Now I need to back this up onto manila folder. Let me get my blue book. Make sure everything's covered. And get this. Let's do it this way. Try to save as much as this of this manila folder as possible. Going to quickly cut around this. And then I'll need to back it up with coffee dyed paper. Get that cut off and the bottom. Okay, put this off to the side for now. Get some coffee dyed paper. Get my glue book again. I'm going to use a new page so that I don't get any glue on the front of my card here. Get glue everywhere, make sure the corners get glue. Okay. Just place this down. Press down with my bone folder. Turn it over. Make sure there are no bubbles in here. All the way around. And I should let this dry a little bit before I cut my corners, but we don't have time for that. We'll just keep going. And before I do anything, I just want to quickly go over this with my Distress Oxide frayed burlap. When it's a white background like that, I like to use a frayed burlap instead of the photo vintage. It just looks better. And then I'll go around and ink the edges. Just a little bit to break off some of that white. Okay. That's looking better. And actually, while I've got my ink here, let me just go around and ink the edges. And if you sew and you want to do any sewing, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to sew today, not on this. And same thing with your pocket. If you want to do sewing, of course, you do all your sewing before you glue everything down. You cut your pieces out, you do your sewing, and you carry on. And I'm going to, excuse me, put my tab on. I'll ink this a little bit. I've got my glue. I've just used the whale punch to punch out this tab here, and we've already measured it, so I don't have to worry about it sticking out. That looks good right about here. Make sure it's straight. Just press down. this is looking good. Now I can test it. Perfect. So at this point, you can go ahead and disguise this with anything you want. You can put a belly band, you can put another pocket. I'll put this off to the side. I'm going to use these clusters that I've made a while back, and this one, and I'll just glue one side and the bottom, excuse me, and then that way I can tuck something in. Get the glue on. Make sure it's right side up. And I want it right about here. Press down on the sides and the bottom. And I'm going to quickly make a card that goes in here. Put this off to the side. I'm just going to make a quick tag for here. I've glued a book page onto a manila folder just to make it a little bit stronger. Get my cutting board. Set this off to the side for now. I didn't glue this on straight, so I want to make sure it gets cut straight. So I'm going to cut around it just so that I can line it up with the groove here. I'll line up the lines of the book page. Get that cut off. Okay, this looks about straight. I'll go ahead and cut it. Perfect. Let me measure how big I am. Okay, so if I cut here, I'll go back and trim it if I need it to be bigger or smaller. Just measure it up one more time. Yeah, if I cut right there, it'll be perfect. Get this through. And for the length, measure my length. If you, of course, have something that already fits in here, then you can go ahead and use that. I do have things, but I find that when I pre-make my tags and all those things, when I go to use them, either the color doesn't match, or if the color matches, it's too big or it's too small. If the size is perfect, the color isn't matching. So I like to make these as I go along. Let me back this up with coffee dyed paper. Get glue everywhere. Okay. Get this on. Oops. Make sure everything is down. Okay, let me get this cut. I didn't let it dry. Oops. I didn't let it dry. And cut around it. Okay, I'm just going to put this under my mat to flatten it out a little bit while I go wash the glue off my hands, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is looking good. I'm going to round off the corners here. And ink around the edges. And ink around the back too. I know it's coffee dyed paper, but for some reason it looks better when I ink around it, as you all know, I'm sure. Okay, that's looking good. Let me get a sticker to put on top of this card, just to make it look nicer. I've already picked out the sticker. It's from the Floral Scent. I got these from Temu. I can link these in the description down below. I love them. They're perfect. I got all the colors that they come in. I think they come into 6 colors. Get this onto the center. Get our disguise card. Put it in our disguise pocket. And there you go. It's your disguised hidden pocket. Oh, let's get our card in here. Where's our card? Right here. Okay, everyone. Thank you for watching my video. And until next time, stay safe and love one another. Bye.